What should you expect out of a quality tarot reading? Anybody can pull out a deck of cards and draw some and make up some things about what they see and how it relates to you or to themselves. After 20 years plus of doing this, there is a difference between the person who picks up the deck and makes things up and the person who has made it their lifetime goal to use this method to help people. Now, it is true that the first parts of what make a quality reading are going to have to do with the person asking the question. Whether you're reading for yourself or you're going to somebody else for a reading, the question itself matters a lot. Usually when somebody goes to a reader for any style of divination, it's because there's something that's bothering them. Something that they are worried about, something that is a memory that continues to plague them, somebody they're thinking about that they just can't get off their mind for whatever reason. There's some point of tension within that person that they are going to a reader to get worked out. So identifying the point of tension is an important part. You can, of course, go to a reader and just say, tell me what you can see about my financial prospects. And they will tease out a narrative about where you are and where you can get in the near future based on what they see in the cards. That'll get you somewhere, but it's not going to get you a lot of details. So the more detailed your understanding of the tension within you is, and also what you would like to get out of the situation. It is very rare that we experience tension within ourselves that doesn't have something to do with desire. So initially, often, we have these feelings, we sense this tension, and we get stuck on, man, this is bothering me. But sometimes we don't do the work to figure out why it's bothering us. What would we prefer to have happen in this situation? What do we expect? Is the problem really coming from something that happened, or is it coming from what's going on inside our head compared to what we see going on around us and our difficulty in reconciling that? There are differences in these details for each person. And the way that you approach the reading is going to make a big difference in the reader's ability to offer you some kind of solution and ease the problem. Now, if you are just looking for somebody to talk things through with, then I wouldn't suggest going to a professional reader. A professional reader's job is to get into your energy field and let you know what they can experience and sense based on your field, using the tools that they understand well, in order to help you move on and transform. So your goal in the question and in your presentation of the problem needs to be offering a sense of why it is that this thing is bothering you and what you want. The clearer those two details are, why you are upset, what it is you want out of the situation, the clearer a reading you are going to get. Now, I will say that at markets, at fairs, at places where I'm generally reading for strangers, sometimes that I'm meeting for the first time, people will just say, well, tell me what you're getting, what you're picking up, what you're sensing. I always look at that from the reader's point of view as a test. That somebody wants to see what I can do, where my energy is, what I focus on. They want a sample. And so I will give them that. If you want a real answer to a real problem, then you need to go to the professional and present the problem to them. The more rails you give them for the direction that you see your life going, the goals that you have set for yourself, how you want to connect your future with your past, the more help they can give you. The more vague you are, the more vague they are going to have to be if they don't know you. If they do know you, they may well be able to intuit what the problem is immediately. But the thing about being a reader is, especially in brand new situations, our senses are often not crystal clear. We are getting impressions of energy that are related to other energies we have experienced, but in doing what we do, any professional who's done it a lot is going to tell you that most energies are really unique. They may have common properties, but small differences can have a big impact on where that energy goes, how it works out for a person. And when we're talking about energy and living beings, the being itself has its own energy. It tends to have things that it holds on to intentionally, that it's trying to avoid or run away from, but keep following it. And we're not going to have all of these details about a person the very first time that we read for them, unless we already have an intimate relationship with that person. So you wouldn't go to a doctor or a lawyer or a mechanic and just say, well, you figure out what my problem is. I'm not telling you anything. Or why don't you just search around and tell me what you find? Most professionals in those kinds of industries are going to tell you that either that's going to cost an awful lot, or they are going to say, well, I need more than that, otherwise I'm going to feel like I'm wasting my time. So when you go to a reader, think about it with that level of gravity and respect, that you see that the reader's got something that you would like to get from them in terms of service and progress in your own existence, and that you have some trust of their abilities to provide that to you. The more that you work with them, the easier the whole thing is going to be. And that also means going to them in the spirit of receptivity, of opening yourself a little bit. You don't have to be wide open. You don't have to let go of every protection that you've got. But you want to let that reader have access at least to the area of your emotions and life that relates to the question that you're asking. So that's the first part, is having a good question. And a skilled reader, if you come to them with a vague question, they should take a moment and help you refine that question into something more specific. At the very least, helping you figure out what direction you want to move in from the point that you're at. If somebody comes to me and asks about their relationship prospects, I at least need to know if they have a relationship in mind that they're working on, or they're trying to end, or they're trying to start, or if they are feeling lonely, they don't know where their next relationship is going to come from, or if they've got several people that they're thinking about and they're looking to make a choice. While I can spread the cards and probably get them that far with no information, if you're sitting down with me at a fair and paying what will certainly be a lower price than a personal reading, I've got so much time because there are other people there who may be waiting for my work. I can do the parlor trick of figuring out where you're at, but within that period of time, I may not be able to give you the best advice that I could give you if you got me to the starting point where you're already at. So please, be open, have a clear question. The next feature that a good reader is going to offer to you is that they understand their tools well. That as they are working with their tool, they are doing so with a sense of respect for you, also for the tool itself. They take your problem seriously, and they've got a clear understanding of how the features and components of their tool relates to the thing that you're asking. In divination, when you sit down for a session, a good touchstone is that everything has meaning. So, coming to it as relaxed as you can be, in the spirit of openness and naturalness. You're sitting down with another person. They are going to tell you something important. That reader should pay attention to every detail and should have some idea of how each detail relates to your needs. And that means every card that they draw should have some impact on what they say. Or if they are using another method, if it's runes, if it's palm reading, they should be comfortable answering any questions that you have about their tools and how they're using them. Skill dissipates mystery. You know, the saying that magic is just technology that you don't understand, it's a glib way of making the point that once you understand the different parts of something, a lot of its mystery disappears. Now, a good diviner will admit to you that there are things about what they're doing that they don't know every answer to. I talk a lot about energy and energy work, but I also admit that in quantifying that energy, in establishing why I may feel some forms of energy in different ways than other spiritualists who I am close to, or that, I can't tell you exactly why every energy in your life and everything that has come to produce you has done so, or why it's different from every other person. There's going to be mystery. A good diviner should be able to admit that and be clear about where the mystery is. The other side of this is that they should have a technical understanding of their tool. If it's a tool that really speaks to them, then they should be able to tell you how that conversation works. A good diviner should be able to tell you what source they are receiving their messages from. I work with a very old ancestor spirit. He is very wise, he is very kind, and he wants to help every person that I encounter. The majority of the information that I get comes from him and my other ancestors who have very graciously volunteered to help me in my life as their descendant. There are also some natural deities that give me assistance when I need it, but the majority of information that I get about human life and what people need are coming from, for lack of a better word, very old ghosts. I'm happy to talk about all this. It should be okay with your diviner to ask them where their information is coming from. What kind of energy, what sort of spirits are they receiving the information they're getting from? So we've got establishing a good question. A good reader should be happy to help you with this. Knowing their tools well. Knowing the source of their information. The final piece of this is that a skilled diviner should be able to relate all the parts of what they see in your reading together so that it gives you something to do. Now, as someone gets started in tarot especially, they tend to look at each card drawn as, so here's an emblem of a meaning. Here's the meaning of this card. And so I'm going to take that meaning as I understand it, and I'm going to relate it to you, the person that I'm reading for. Here's what this card means for you. It's a great way to start. It gets your mind rolling in the right direction as far as establishing what the cards are saying. However, this is much the same as picking up a novel, taking a sentence out of it, and defining every word in the sentence, rather than translating the meaning of the whole sentence, as the words affect each other and as they have weight on each other's meanings. And their connotations change what the whole sentence feels like in communication. A talented diviner is going to be able to relate all the parts, in the case of tarot, relate the cards to each other into a message that they can deliver to you as actionable instructions. Here is what you need to do next in order to resolve this tangle of tension that you have brought to me, the reader. These elements are going to result in the best, most productive readings that you can get. Now, it may sound like I'm saying don't go to diviners and readers with general questions. I think it's fine to go to them with a general question if you've got enough time to talk about your whole life generally. Because if somebody comes to me and I'm on a market where I'm offering 3-card readings, even 6-card readings, and they want to know about their entire life, those cards are going to give me a window into a little part of their life. It's going to talk specifically about one thing, probably the thing that is bothering them the most on their mind at that moment, because that's the energy that their whole system is going to be reverberating with. But if you give me a full hour and a half for a personal reading, and I've got a chance to potentially make use of the entire deck, at least 10 cards, but probably more, then if it's your birthday, you're looking for information about what to expect in the next year, you've come to a big turning point in your life, and you want to know where things are going to shift to, what you should focus on, and fill empty energy in your life with, it's going to take more time, it's going to take more cards. That process of seeing which cards are revealed and bringing them all into a conclusive narrative package that you can make use of, it's just going to take more time. So if you want a good general reading, you want to go to the reader with that sense of understanding that they need that time in order to get that deep into the layers of your existence. Generally, people looking for readings are at least teenagers, if not adults, and that's a lot of life that has accumulated for each of those people, that, especially to meet somebody for the first time, but even with a close friend, it takes a while to get through the layers, see what is affecting what, and what reasonable shifts can be made in order to bring that life to new vistas, new possibilities, and really open up that person's spiritual potential. This is one more aspect. I know I said there was a final one, but this is important enough to mention. Your reader should be offering you greater agency. Long ago, people who did what I do were mostly known as fortune tellers. They were going to tell you your fortune, your destiny, what the goddess Fortuna had written out for you as the plot of your life. Now, I'm a person who puts a lot of stock in agency. I think that we're in this reality to make choices that are going to transform both ourselves and all the other entities around us as they respond to our choices in the making of their own. We're here to be part of that complex and enjoy the sense of freedom that we do have in the choices we can make. So every reader that is worth their salt at all, in my opinion, should be showing you where your agency is. Not in the sense of looking back at your life and saying, oh, well, you shouldn't have done that, and why did you do this? This isn't about laying guilt on a person or telling them that they're the source of all their own problems. What it is about is helping them see the next steps they can make and offering them the different options that their agency could bring them in that is going to enhance and excite that sense of agency. I want everybody who gets up from my table, really every reader's table, to feel like they have a broader expanse of life to live, more options available to them, and that they can see the facets of what they want in more than just one direction. Because it's so often that somebody sits down and has this one thing that they are so set on getting, no matter what, and the reading is saying, well, why do you want that thing? And here, aren't these other options going to be closer to where you are and more respectful of the other parts of your life if you organize them in this less grandiose way? But every reading is different. As I've said, these are the important facets. The question, refining that question so that it is open-ended and your reader has a clear sense of where you're coming from, where you'd like to go. That reader's ability to understand their tools well, their ability to respect that agency of yours, give you actions to take from the point that you're at. All of these make for quality readings. Thank you very much for listening. Please post any questions that you've got. I would love to know about reading experiences that you've had. And if there are other things that were incorporated into them that made you feel as comfortable and as assisted as possible. And if you are looking for expert readings from somebody with a lot of experience who is going to be invested in helping you move your life in the directions that you are truly called to, please don't feel shy about scheduling an appointment with me through my site, newelltarot.com. Thanks so much, and have a fabulous day. Take care.